Hi, my name is Jerry Wise, and I'm a therapist at Family Tree Counseling Associates in Carmel, Indiana, north of Indianapolis. And this video is entitled, I don't want to deal with my past, I only want to move forward. If I only had $1 for every client that had come to see me who had made this statement or a statement like that, I would be a very wealthy man. It's like saying to the doctor, I don't want to take the antibiotic for this infection that I have. I just want to feel better and get well. It's very difficult to help someone with one or two hands tied behind your back. And I think for a lot of folks, when they put their past out of their thinking or think it's of no value and no importance and doesn't need to be bothered with, then they're actually trying to grow, go somewhere, make progress in their life with one hand tied behind their back, or for many people, with two hands tied behind their back. There are other statements that I've heard over the past 35 years that I've worked with folks. But isn't that just in the past? Or how could that be affecting me now? I don't live with my family of origin now. I don't even see them but once a year. My parents are dead, so there's no need to dredge up things from my childhood. Or I was 8 years old then. How could that matter now? And I don't believe in blaming my parents for my troubles now, so let's not talk about that. Or I came from a wonderful family. Why should I look at the past? Because I had this excellent childhood with great parents. You therapists are always trying to blame other people. People should just take responsibility for their own feelings and actions. In other words, the client saying, I just need to take responsibility for my own feelings and actions. I don't need to blame my parents or my family of origin. Another statement would be, shouldn't we just live in the now and not live in the past or live in the future and just live in the moment? Or I've moved way past my past, but I still can't get over these feelings and bad choices. Or a classic one is someone will come and they have a straight face and then they will say, do you think my childhood has anything to do with my problems? And then they start crying. They're assuming it doesn't, but yet they're overwhelmed with feelings just to even think about it. But they have put it so far on the shelf and put it so far out of their conscious awareness. And what I've found is these kinds of statements only lead to recycling, going in circles, not making progress, feeling frustrated, failing at goals, failing at life achievements, etc. So why is the past important? Because it is the present. It is still in us. I like to say we have a lifelong dialogue with our family of origin within us. A lifelong dialogue. If you don't believe that or don't agree with that, you don't have to. I just wish you the best of luck and hope things work out for you. And I truly do. Most people I know are either prisoners to their past or rebelling against their past. Prisoner or rebelling. They've not found a way to neutralize or detach from it. And neither prison nor rebelling is freedom. Just like the child growing up in an alcoholic home then decides, well, I'm not going to be an alcoholic. My parents were alcoholics, so I'm going to do absolutely nothing to even come near drinking. Now, that may be an excellent idea and a very good plan not to get involved in drinking if alcoholism is in your family, but they tend to find themselves still getting stuck as ACOA, or adult children of alcoholics, in that they're rebelling against what their parents did wrong. rather than being free from it or detaching from it. I believe that learning from and healing from our past is a way to navigate knowing yourself and how to interact with others, and how you have been caught and get free from those emotional traps, loveless marriages, affairs, addictions, depression, and underfunctioning, underemployment, failures, hurts, and anger. I've seen it happen time and time again. I believe dealing with the past is the way to real change and to make surgical changes in our emotional and relational lives to bring about empowering maturity and self-esteem and what we call self-differentiation, which most of us have far too little of, which causes us most of our problems. As I have said earlier, the past is present. The past is in you. Most try to move away from their past. The best, most effective way is to move through the past and beyond. Most people most people I see are trying to move away from it. And all it tends to do is tighten those bonds to the past rather than loosens them, much like Chinese finger cuffs that you put on your finger, and the more you try to move away, the tighter they are. The more you move towards them and through them, you can get out and loosen up. Often therapists talk of the many whys for why you feel the way you do and why you do the things that you do. They offer explanations from the past to explain why we feel and do the things we do. Now, not that this is a wrong thing to know why or unhelpful, it's just that it's not enough for real change to take place. It's all too often that the therapist stops here and just giving you insight. Well, because your parents were alcoholic, this is why you're doing this. Well, that's not all there is to healing. That's a first part to healing. Now that you know why, you should change and behave differently, many therapists would say. Now that you know why, you should just behave differently. Well, many don't know how, nor have they done their own work of learning how to resolve feelings we have today related to our family of origin issues, and help us move beyond and forward in our lives to grow through and beyond our family of origin. And again, not away from them, but through them. And I think many therapists have not done their own work, so they have a hard time helping you with it. Knowing about the past is not equal to moving beyond and living free of the past. Knowing about your life growing up and how your family of origin is still at work in you and gives you a power and the insight to begin to do the work. It isn't the work, it's the beginning. Now that we know some of our whys, we begin the work of what we call self-differentiation, differentiating ourselves from our family of origin. That is, I believe, one of the most powerful healing moves anybody can make in therapy. Differentiating ourselves to do the work of being our true selves and learning a new way of seeing and experiencing love, intimacy, feelings, and choices, not just in the same way we learned growing up. Much of therapy never takes clients beyond the knowing part. They educate but don't resolve, heal, and relearn, which is the work of self-differentiation. Let me give you an example. This example is about the man who had an affair. This story is not about any one person, but like many stories I have heard and worked with over the years. Jack and Jill have been married 10 years. Jack chose a wife and Jill chose a husband in which their level of self-differentiation, their self-esteem, self-image, all kinds of things, is basically the same. We tend to choose someone like us in terms of self-differentiation. And on a scale of 1 to 10, Jack came out of his family with the ability to be intimate and self-differentiated at about a 2. Jill is the same. Jack and Jill are great people, kind and generous. Jack is a workaholic and moody. Jill is very dependent and tends towards depression. Their marriage had become a loyal but loveless marriage, talked about in a previous video if you recall. Jack has been having an affair for about a year and a half. He has tried to stop several times, but feels sad, lonely, depressed, worthless, broken, and lost whenever he gives up his girlfriend on the side. He feels mostly numb towards his wife Jill, and they have become roommates and basically co-parents of their children. Jill is wrapped up in child rearing and church, and Jack is wrapped up in work and his affair. So what is the way out for Jack? What is the way of healing? Jack is not living a free, self-differentiated, mature life. He is still stuck in the painful childhood and family of origin, which is still stuck in him, though he does not have a clue about this. He thinks his feelings of feeling sad, depressed, lonely, lost, etc. are just normal feelings that you'd have when you're not with somebody that you love, his affair partner. The thing is, those are feelings that go way back to his family of origin, and he's rehearsing them again and again and again. Jack can't remember much of his childhood, so he discounts the importance of childhood. He's an adult now and doesn't need to buy all of that inner child and family of origin foolishness that therapist talks about. He should just learn to be himself and do what he wants and needs and becomes who he wants to become. He feels miserable, guilty, lost, caught, and feels he has nowhere to go to make the changes that need to be made. And then he comes into my office. His father was an alcoholic and a successful Fortune 500 executive. His mother was codependent and depressed, very into church. Sound familiar? Does his parents' marriage sound like his marriage? Jack is caught between his unhappiness with his wife and the enmeshment with his secret affair. Leaving his wife is torturous and has many problems. Letting go of his affair does not offer much happiness or help either, and has many problems attached to this, or at least emotionally problems, guilt, loneliness, lack of pleasure, whatever he feels inside. Family of origin issues are at the heart of A and B. Because of them, Jack found Jill. Because of them, he found his affair partner. And if he dropped that affair partner, he'd find another affair partner just like that. When Jack was growing up, most of the time he felt lost, depressed, worthless, broken, shamed, sad, and lonely. To try not to feel these feelings, he chose Jill, and then later he chose his affair. The good news: Jack can go through these feelings and face his family of origin and childhood and find a new Jack. It's never too late to have a happy childhood. If Jack did not feel all these negative feelings, I wonder what he would choose and how he would live. Jack does not know how to live without these feelings, is what I contend. That has been so norm for him all of his life that all of his life choices come out of those feelings. Facing them, healing them, learning to reparent Jack in a healthy way, and learning the power of self-differentiation from his family of origin is the way to live a new life of real change and real maturity, to find real love, real self-love, and real love for others. I want you to contact me if any of this has made any sense and has helped you in some way and you're not sure where to go from here. Give me a call at 317-919-6264. You can find me at www.familytreecounseling.com. And whether you live in Montana, New York, Georgia, California, there's Skype and FaceTime coaching and therapy. Join our Family Tree Counseling channel on YouTube. And I want to thank you for listening. Have a good day.